Rick Steele here with another betting tips video for you this week. And as promised, we're going to wrap up this portion of the content of betting tips with the nuts and bolts beginners edition of handicapping college football. Yes, week 0 is just a few days away. We're also heading into week 3 now of NFL preseason. So that season will be kicking off quite shortly. And as we all know, that quickly is followed by MLB playoffs. And believe it or not, NHL and NBA just around the corner from that. So as mentioned previously, obviously fall and spring are the busiest times to be a sports bettor. So if you want to get my official bets day in, day out, all year long, you simply go to the homepage of my website, pshltd.com, and you click on the Today's Picks button. Always free, no BS, no signups, total transparency, complete integrity. The records are updated, broken down by sport on a daily basis. Now, you never want to miss a bet. Obviously, you want to stay mobile. You don't want to be glued to your computer day in, day out, 24/7. So you follow me across social media, Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook. My handle is @RickSteele99. Especially with Twitter, turn on the notifications. Each and every time, multiple times throughout the day as we head into our busy season, when I do post a pick or picks to the website, I send out a tweet letting you know so. You'll get the notification on your phone. You simply go to the homepage of the website and then pick it up. So never missing a bet, and also obviously wanting to get the best lines possible once I release a pick. In a minute, when we do head to the betting tips content of this video, I'm going to let you in on a secret, how you can have a very powerful, profitable upcoming football season. Don't tell anyone, but I'll cover that secret with you in one brief moment. All that I ever asked for in return in producing this content, helping to make you a more profitable sports bettor, more importantly, increasing your education in this arena, helping you to learn the techniques to isolate value, is if you could support my YouTube channel by clicking on the subscribe button before you leave. I'd really appreciate that. Hope to put you on a few more winners and obviously avoid some losers at the same time. I'm always there for help and support. So if you have any questions, shoot those over to me and I'll get back to you with those responses as quickly as possible. So let's get on to the topic at hand for today. And that will be, first of all, let's lead off with the secret at hand. If the number one thing that you can do unequivocally in order to become more profitable, short-term, long-term, even today, improve your profits during the football season and our busy time that's about to begin, add at least one fully funded additional sports book to your inventory. It always pays to shop and get the best lines possible. Part-time sports bettors have anywhere in the neighborhood 3 to 7 fully funded accounts. If you're full-time with the legalization now across North America as well, no excuses. I still deal with the gray market as well. You'll find the sports books that I deal with on the homepage of my website as well, as far as the gray market is concerned. But I've been dealing with those sports books for 15 plus years, never had one iota of a problem getting paid or limited. So I recommend those as well. You can go check those out at my website. But again, fully funded, full-time sports bettors, 20 plus sports books. There's no excuse these days. Now let's get on to the nuts and bolts of the topic at hand. College football season, just about to get underway, right? So let's deal with some of the basics. Now, there's many similarities handicapping college football and pro football, and there's also many differences. Much like starting pitching in baseball, the quarterback, as we know, can make or break your bets. Now, in college football, top-tier teams, recruiting generally not an issue for them, right? They get the best of the best from the high school ranks, And yeah, there's going to be some growing pains, maybe some drop off from prior years, but it won't be as great as the market thinks, generally speaking. Secondly, when in the previous years a starting quarterback has graduated, teams that have been able to promote their backups usually have an advantage, right? Continuity, knowing the playbook. It's an especially big advantage early on in the season. When a star quarterback leaves and there is no viable backup, this team is going to experience some major growing pains, and they're also going to simplify their playbook. So this is a team that's probably going to be overvalued early on in the season based on prior reputation. Remember that concept of reality versus reputation, but also don't ignore the totals, because on those particular types of teams, you're looking to focus on the underside of things. Now, as we know as well, turnovers of rosters in college sports, period, is huge. It's become even more huge given the transfer portals that now exist. So you got to stay on top of all that information. So look for teams with many returning starters to get off to quick starts, especially when they go up against teams with many freshman starters. However, be wary of teams with low turnover. This is a habit that people fall into, who were bad the year before. Low turnover and also bad the prior year. It's very likely, unless there was a coaching change and a drastic change in approach, well, this team's likely going to be bad again. So you can't hang your hat like usual on just one concept. Strength of schedule is critical, more so even in college sports than the pros when handicapping. Many high-ranked teams will play cupcakes prior to conference play, although their stats may look outstanding. When this team goes up against their first real competition, make sure you adjust for the teams that they've played so far. Conversely, a team that has played a very difficult non-conference schedule may be undervalued once they take steps down to play teams within their own conferences, having been that conference may be weak. So always focus as well on strength of schedule. And also you want to see, as we head into weeks 4 and 5, if you've had teams that have played a tough non-conference schedule, maybe they've already become battle tested. So when they come up against equal or even greater competition, look and focus on those to see if they're going to be able to cover at least in those particular games. So when assessing the schedule, always look also for those look ahead and let down spots. That's also prevalent in pro football. A look ahead is when a team is a major favorite but has a big rivalry game that's on deck. The current game could be simply a win and move on. Moving on, no issue as far as running up the score or covering. And so you want to look for those teams that get out to a big lead. Perhaps they take the gas off the pedal in the second half and play some of the backups to get some experience as well. There's also what's called sandwich games that fall into the same category. So you have a team that's off a tough game, now facing a cupcake, and then they got another team that's upcoming that is another rivalry game. So that middle sandwich game, there's nothing there that's motivating this team again to win and cover. Remember, new coaches, even at the coordinator level, you have to dig into this situation. See what the philosophies are of these coaches, especially if there's been turnover at the coordinator and head coach level, because when that happens, it means there's new systems and perhaps a new philosophy on how this team is going to play. So if you're on top of that, people that are not are going to rely on old information and adjust and handicap based on that, when it can be a totally different focus. Maybe the team's going to be playing much faster, much slower. Maybe they're going to be a team that is more going to rely on passing as opposed to running, which is something they hadn't done in the past. So you want to stay on top of all the coaching philosophies and changes as well. Also, look for existing coaches that are now on the proverbial hot seat coming off a bad year. It's now win or be fired. So pay special attention on how the coaching staff is going to handle that situation. So I hope this has covered off with you some of the nuts and bolts simplistically for beginners on how to handicap the college football season, again with overlapping somewhat into the pros as well with some of these techniques. Again, the big secret: open up as many fully funded sports books as you can, shot till you drop. Always get the best line possible. Review my betting tips video on timing your market and when to place your bets. Don't forget again to subscribe before you leave this video. I appreciate it. It will help me to continue to produce these videos, spending the time and money in doing so. My goal is simple, simply just to help you become a more efficient, profitable sports bettor. Let's have a great upcoming fall season. May all the winners today be yours, and I'll be back with you shortly with more betting tips videos, but also with some specific sports picks as well.